Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Anthony Schillers. Welcome to my show, No Women in Heaven. Today's subject is ivory worth more than gold, not Christian or Hebrew. Now, I know you're sitting there wondering, Anthony, what is this subject about? And I'm glad some of you are still hanging with me. I've given my book out, No Women in Heaven, to several friends that I've known for years at the gym. One of them is a newspaper reporter, and he hasn't said very much to me. I guess his jaws got kind of tight. But I want you to understand, ladies and gentlemen, that in my book, I have, let's see, where did I put this? Because I have a claimer in my book, is that the book is reserved only for elite believers. These secret books were often preserved for use within the circles of the elite believers. The unenlightened church fathers found themselves outside this realm. So what you have to understand is, okay, original Bible had 100 different sections to it, which you would call chapters. There are individuals within this religious community, church community, who decided what you should know. So some books were down to 29. I think the guy that created the Protestants, and it even states this, that he decided there were only 29 chapters that the people needed to know. He amongst himself, holier than thou, decided this. Then there are many who have the what is it called? What is this? The Bible that is, man, I don't know why that slipped my mind, but it's the Bible that everyone is reading. But King James. I'm sorry, ladies and gentlemen. Many times I've read 4 or 5 King James Bibles, different ones, and they only went up to about 66 chapters. So I was really fortunate when I was able to come up on the Seaford Bible, and I believe it has 71 chapters. There are some individuals who I've met who have Bibles that have 73 chapters, but no one has the entire 100 except the Church of Rome. So there is doctrine that it's so important they will not let you know, because much of the doctrine will tell you you don't need them. For one, nowhere in the Bible it says you have to go to church, and nowhere in the Bible it says you should be listening to a preacher. I know that they have priests and whatever else, but you don't have to follow them. Abram didn't follow his father. After the flood, Noah teaches Abram about Yahuwah, who you call God, which is a title. But Abram then, when he moves to go back to live with his father, he doesn't follow his father, who then was the first, you would say, the first minister after the flood. He didn't listen to his father, Terah, or Nimrod the king. So what you have to understand is, a lot of times you're doing what is not written, or someone is making statements that they cannot find. But remember, they claim they were what they call heretical or Heretical, heretical or let's not stay there, and therefore forbidden to read. Unenlightened believers are forbidden to read this book. This is why my son, who's a minister, will say, oh, you're not supposed to read the book of Enoch. Well, why is it in the Bible? Why is it in my Bible if I'm not supposed to read it? And where does it state in the Bible that I'm not supposed to read it? But you men got amongst each other and decided what we should know and what we should not know. And that's where it becomes very dangerous. And this is why you'll find yourself worshiping the images of a man, standing up in church where you're not supposed to have a you've got and I call it, I refer to it as a what did I say, a polluted altar. Come on, read the book. Where were you supposed to take a chisel to an altar? Where were you supposed to carve the altar? Where was you? It has nowhere you were supposed to do these things, but they do it. You were not supposed to be walking up steps up to the altar. Why? Because it may show your nakedness. Because remember, they didn't have underwear then. So, you know, you had your garment on, but you may, and and it says, you know, a lot of times it'll say, I forgot your loins. You're supposed to cover your loins, or gird your loins. You'll hear that term. And that's like, you know, cover yourself. So you were not supposed to walk up steps to an altar for the simple fact that it would expose you. Okay, let's get into the subject today. Where does this term ivory comes from? What does it mean, Anthony? And let's go ahead and explain it. And what I'm explaining to you is that children of Israel was referred to as ivory. And something that I have here in my book, page 34. Really nice book. I was going through it this morning. I'm like, I'm impressed myself. One, in this book, wonderful pages, good paper material, so it's not anything that is cheap, but it's knowledge in here that it may make you run out in the street and do circles and start hollering and screaming. We're not talking about doing donuts in the car. We're talking about you're out there doing donuts and circle with your feet. But what you have to understand is on page 34, the ivorium is talking about the Bible. An Ivorite or an ivory was a tribe of Israel, or Yazriel, because it starts with a Y. Remember, in my book, you're not going to have Israel, it's going to be Yazrael, because it starts with a Y. And if you understand vowels, Y and I tend to have the same meaning or sound. Yahuwah speaks the ivory language. Okay, what is ivory and what is this coming from? Okay, let's give you a little bit of history of what this means and what I'm talking about. Because it says, you're worth more than gold to me. And people say, oh, I'm Christian, that means I'm more than gold. No, the only thing on earth that is in earth or on the earth that was worth more than gold was the elephant tusk, the ivory elephant tusk from Africa. Yes. Let's give you a little bit of history. Okay. In 1282, Pope Martin requested that the tithes from Greenland be paid in gold or silver instead of walrus tusk. The walrus, you know, that big old walrus, and he's got those long tusks. That is what men hunted, and they hunted them for these tusks because these tusks were used as payment. I mean, it used as money. And when I read this, I was like, you telling me that a pope inflicted upon a whole country to pay him tithes? Can you imagine how absurd that is? That you would have the Church of Rome impose on the United States that they receive all their tithes in gold or silver. It's like, wait a minute. How did we get in this? That's religion. Wonder if you're not referring to yourself as a religious individual. I don't call myself a religious individual. I don't practice a religion. Not me. So, ladies and gentlemen, let's get back to this. We don't want to get off key. Okay, by the mid-13th century, the walrus tusk was not suited for a lot of the religious artifacts. So they went after the elephant tusk in Africa, which was better material. And it says here, mid-13th century, the elephant tusk was larger than the walrus tusk. making them better suited for the detailed, naturalistic